follow Julian's advice. I'll present myself. So my name is Paulin, I'm 34, and I'm the founder at Drivey. Drivey is a peer-to-peer car rental platform. So it lets people who own a car list it on the website to make money, and it lets people who need a car and don't have one borrow or rent rather the car of their neighbors. And my presentation tonight will be about the importance of text, so copywriting text content on the website and how this can generate trust. And when I say copywriting, I'm not talking about only advertising or marketing, but rather all the pieces of text on the website. So my main pitch is that writing good text, spending time on writing text on the website is probably the part of UX design which has the highest return on investment. And I'll try to show you some examples. First, I think it's good to look to make a small focus at a website homepage. It's very important. It seems like a dumb advice, but it's very, very important, I believe, to explain very clearly what you're doing. In startup competitions, for example, where you see dozens of pitches, myself, I understand about 50% of activities of startups that are usually presented, no more than 50%. So it's extremely important to have one or two sentences to explain what you're doing. So this is our homepage. There is a part missing, but it's the highest part on the bottom. Below our logo, you can see our baseline. It's peer-to-peer rental. We didn't repeat car because it's already inside the logo, and we wanted to find something maybe more imaginative, more interesting, like Airbnb, travel like a human. But we decided to keep it very, very descriptive, very basic. Then you have this huge title, location de voiture entre particuliers, peer-to-peer car rental. It can seem obvious as well, but in France we have 8 competitors, and all of them had a different. This title was different for all of them, and now I think most of them, 7 out of 8, put exactly the same words as we did. We could have called it a social network for renting out your car. We could have called it car sharing instead of car rental, but we decided to keep it as simple as possible. And in the bottom, we have a few sentences explaining clearly in French what we do. Then, apart from these 3 blocks of text, we leave the user-generated content is king, so you have ratings and you have how many listings you have in each city. Not only a small, it's not just explaining what you do is not just for a very small French startup like we are. MailChimp, for example, their title clearly state what they do, same with the description, and the video is just someone posting an email, preparing a campaign using MailChimp, so it's very descriptive. Another service we like, Learning Shelter, so peer-to-peer tuition. Same things, they really describe what they are doing, so after 10 seconds, you know why you are here for. Maybe a less good example for me, Email Vision. We are trying to think CRM, how we are going to organize this field. You know that they power smarter marketing. You know that they are local and global, that you have to stay connected, but you still don't know what it is about. And I think even when you are a big player like Email Vision, you have to be clearer. Because if you speak only about benefits without first saying, okay, what I'm doing is this and this, if you only speak about benefits, this will change your life. This is how you might look like. Then I'll now focus on some efforts we did on our text on Drivey. So the motto is high quality, low quantity. And what I'm saying here is not that we are high quality, it's just that we are really concerned about what we write. But we are far from, of course, from being to the level of major tech actors in the world. But we are at least spending a lot of time writing copy. So maybe I'll go a bit faster now. This is a pop-in that when you click on book a car, this is what we show. So it was very complicated to write this text because actually you can. It's like on Airbnb. Actually on Drivey, you can either book directly or establish contact first by telephone or by email, and then book. And it was quite difficult to try to explain that you can do the two. So not entering the details, just to let you know, this looks very simple, but we spend really hours on each word to try to be as clear as possible. Emails, peer-to-peer service like ours, since you have the central service plus two people talking, you have tons of templates of emails. Most of the conversions on our website all of the conversions need an email before, because people, owners who are contacted, they need to be called back on the website by an email. So it's extremely important to write these emails very clearly and to have clear call to action. And it's a huge work because, for example, I think we have about maybe 80 different email templates. So when you update a feature, you have to make sure that all the emails, they are still clear. They are still in line with the actual experience. These two things are pop-in or action confirmation, very important. Like we call these set flash messages. So here someone just signed up. And these little messages are a great opportunity to explain the users after an action what they can expect next, the next action that they are going to do. Also very difficult to manage because it's hard to test. You can have these pieces of text everywhere in the code. So, but I think it's very, very important to be careful about those messages. So this is a very business-specific block of text. It's our rental contract. So what the owner prints just before he starts a rental. So it looks very bad. The design is very bad. But just to let you know, we made maybe 50 edits of this document because we want everything to fit in one page, and each and every word was really carefully chosen so that the sentences are short and it's still understandable. Of course, looking from your seat, maybe not, but if you print it, it's not so bad. Our help section is very basic so far, so it's not a knowledge database. It's more like something you can read linearly, so you can open or close each topic. Again, a lot of work on the wording, and we try to keep it alive each time there is a new feature. It's the kind of thing you have to update all the time. So that's it for examples. Naming, just a short slide on this one. Naming is extremely important. I told you in the beginning we chose rental instead of car sharing. In French, you could call someone an owner or a renter, so it can be ambiguous. You can have a rental request, demande de location or reservation. You can call it car or vehicle. So all this stuff, of course, we don't have the perfect solution for each, but sometimes we end up spending hours on how to name well something, and you feel that you are losing time, that your competitor are doing great features while you are losing your time choosing the right names. But I think it's a very good investment to name to name everything very well. And what is difficult is naming in the backend, so on the code side, is different often as naming on the front end side. So what the users see. Then final point in this part, the tone. How do you speak to your users? Are you formal? Are you casual? It's very important to choose the tone and to be consistent. So for us, we are peer-to-peer car rental service. People are initially scared about the practice. If you post something, a topic in a forum about our activity, you'll have immediately 10 people saying you are crazy, never do that, I'll never do that, you'll get raped, your car will get stolen, everything. And so for us, it's very important. We consider that we cannot play too much with the content. We have to be very professional, we have to be very respectful. We would never use tu in French, sorry for the French, but we would never use tu, we use vous. Some of our competitors adopted a more friendly, a more casual tone. And for us, we try not to be too formal, but still always very respectful and very professional. And I think this has to be consistent in all the content produced, so the text on the website, the community management, the customer service, everything. And the conclusion of this part on our efforts to write text is that many visitors who come first to Drivey, after the test, they tell us that they feel good, that they trust the service, and I think a lot is due to the fact that we have all these efforts with the copywriting. I think in terms of trust, it's very, very important to be understood clearly and to describe really what you do rather than tons of benefits. Now, in this second part of my presentation, I'll try to dig a little bit in the process internally at Drivey. Just share a little bit of how we write content. So everybody repeats this: content is king. And in the design process, so when we create a new functionality, when we create a new page, the consequence is death to lorem ipsum, so which is dummy text that you can use while you make your design. So you have this famous UX designer, Luke Wroblewski, who said that using dummy content or fake information can result in product with basically flaws and bad product. I think it's very right. Basically, each time we have a feature in mind and we start writing, we start making mock-ups and writing the actual copy, 50% of time when you start explaining to the user what is this new feature, you write a text that is too long and you say, then it's because my feature is too complex. So in many cases, we actually end up changing the feature. So if you use lorem ipsum and then you fill in the copy at the very last minute, you cannot have a good feeling of what the user experience will be. So first point I already explained, and second point, it's very important when you test a new feature to make it with the real content. So we try, for example, when we test something, to think about a scenario like I'm going to rent a car this weekend to visit my grandmother, and with this in mind, you can test. If you use dummy text and you instead of a car picture, you put a random picture and random text, then you never get a good feeling on what you are going to deliver your users. What tools do we use at the mock-up stage? We were using previously Mockflow and also tried Balsamiq. Now we made a simpler choice, Keynote Kung Fu. So it's just a $12 template that you can import inside Keynote, and it looks like this. Just basically buttons, forms, everything you need. Twitter Bootstrap Twitter Bootstrap elements that you can use, and that we use a lot. How can we manage effectively content? Actually, at Drivey, I think we are still really beginners in this field. We are not so good. What we are doing is for large chunks of content like the insurance page, the help, everything, we have a CMS, which is I think a gem in Ruby on Rails. I'm not sure. I'm asking Nicolas, who is here. And for everything else, so apart from these large pieces of content that everybody in the company can edit, it's everything in the code, which means only developers can update it, which is a problem. And how do we solve this? I mean, what helps us is that we are using only for a few. We've been using for a few months GitHub to request all new stuff to code, and especially it works very well for text edit because it's extremely fast. So, for example, this is a ticket in GitHub that we just delivered today. So I put. It's very easy to copy and paste an image and put some text here, and it can seem stupid to this kind of remark, but for example, before we were using Mantis, it's a bug tracker. You need more or less 40 seconds to create a ticket in Mantis. Here you need 5 seconds, and this 30 seconds difference is what will push someone who remarks a problem in the text to report it instead of saying, yeah, I'll delay it and let's see later, and then your content is a dead body and never changes. Help content is a special issue. So far, you've seen we've only got a list of topics that you can read linearly. I think we need a knowledge database that would be searchable, easy to insert in multiple places because people cannot browse a huge pile of help. So we need something that we can easily distribute, like articles, like Wikipedia articles that we can distribute everywhere inside the website, and where feedback is possible, like you see on Google, did this content help you, yes or no? And we are thinking maybe about Zendesk, but we didn't make a choice so far. How is our organization, and how does this organization produce content? So we are 15 people, 7 web and mobile developers, so we are very product focused. 1 UI designer, 3 people at operations and customer service, 2 at marketing, 1 at administration, and myself. So myself, I'm spending a lot of time writing content, no big surprise. And then each department is in charge of his own content. Especially, I would mention operations and customer service. So they answer customers all day. So it's very important that they feel responsible for editing the help content and anything that can facilitate the user's experience. Marketing people also. More in an acquisition and comfort point of view, they also edit content a lot. And developers, very important. We have developers who do a big chunk actually of the product management. It's I believe it's very important to have developers who write well. And our CTO is here. He writes very good blog articles. And for all the positions, be it technical or not, what really made the difference is when we received applications with really nice, not something long, but something well written and clear. And I think, for example, at some stage, we had a big part of our development subcontracted. And if you have developers who don't care about the copy, then you can never catch up because they produce new pieces of text the whole time. You see only 30% because it's contextual, and then you end up with bad text quality. So what are our challenges? copywriting is quite often a bottleneck at Drivey. So sometimes everyone is ready and I'm still lagging behind because I need to produce my text. It's quite hard to share this work with other people, to delegate it, to give it to other people. And it's quite hard also to teach it, to learn. Someone who doesn't write well, it's not easy, I think, to learn. So as I mentioned before, it's very important when you hire to hire people who write well. And big internal question, should we have someone responsible for like a matrix, like each department is in charge each department is in charge of his own content, marketing, operations, but should we have someone in charge for coordinating all the content, validating everything, updating everything? And I actually believe so, and we have a communications manager position open at Drivey, and in the beginning we were thinking more about someone very advertising focused, very creative, and the more we go and the more I think someone very at ease with writing and summarizing stuff and writing in 100 words what others write in 300 words. I think this is probably the most important point with our future communications manager. Thank you.
So thank you very much. It's time for question. I reserve myself the right to ask the first question. I know Drivey for a very long time, more than 3 years, and so it's not what we could say a early stage startup. It's well in place startup. And when you first show me your product 3 years before, it was not a crappy product, but
not so far.
It's a really basic product.
Yes.
Actually, it was a product in which people could put an annonce with their car, a picture of their car, and some basic information, and there was a list of these cars. My question is, during these 3 years, when did you start to focus on copywriting? And second part of the question, which were the other big challenges you faced in terms of UX in the distinct steps of your product design?
So when did we start focusing on copywriting? I think you mentioned our product was almost crappy at the time, and I think the only thing that was not crappy was actually the content. So in the very beginning, I think because some other services started shortly after us, and I think we really were clearer in the text than the others. And design, I had done it, so I'm a very bad designer. Code was subcontracted, so basically since the very first days, I think that it was a competitive advantage. And then what were the challenges we had in?
I think, for example, when you started,
yes.
you were testing your ID with a kind of prototype. Or
yes.
What were the first insights you get? What were the first things you say? Okay, I have to focus on that to make my product go to the next step.
In the beginning, we didn't have any insurance, so it was the very first year we spent a lot of energy trying to sign an insurance contract, and we managed after more or less 1 year. So this was the first big challenge. And in terms of user experience,
but I could say that finding an insurance was a part of the user experience, as you could display on your homepage where we have insurance, and I think that was an important thing of the trust on that people could have on the platform.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Something to add on this question? Or
sorry?
Something to add on this question? Okay.
Nothing.
So, who wants the microphone?
Hi.
Hi.
What about your content strategy? Do you have what kind of process do you use to produce all the content on your site? Do you exchange with users? Do you do like user stories or something?
It's quite simple. I don't think we can call it really a strategy. We are not very organized. It's mostly that we really care about it, so we don't let it go. But then, as I mentioned, it can be anyone in the company. Generally, I'm very involved in this, so I write a big percentage of the text that you can read on the website, or I review them. But I couldn't talk about strategy. It's a bit disorganized. We are too small maybe to be at this stage.
Hi. Do you plan to translate the website in other languages? If so, how can you maintain the quality of the copywriting?
Good question. It's going to be a good challenge, and I think I mean it's something obvious, but it's such a big hurdle for European startups compared to Americans, for example, that you have to keep this quality, and if you want to go international, you have to make it fast. So it's a huge hurdle, and I think the only point that comes to my mind like this is hiring someone who really cares about this and is a native of another language. But I don't have any other. Maybe I mean the person doing communication, and so who might be in charge of coordinating copy should be bilingual, trilingual, and then the country manager obviously has to share this strong feeling with text. But then I have no magical solution to make sure that it works well.
Hi. Yeah. Here on your left.
Sorry.
What copies do you test and what copies you don't test? For instance, I'm thinking about the contracts on the tu and the vous. And do you also test fonts when you test your copies?
We don't test copies. We never made an A/B testing on the website, which is very bad. But still, we were not yet there, and we want to do it. So just to tell you, my main message is that we care about it, but we are not very organized or industrial about it so far. So it's more feeling for the time being.
Hi, hello. Just a little question. Usually, if someone come across your website, there is a first intent to make a rental. What do you make? Do you have anything special to make sure that the person will actually make the rental? I don't know, in terms of maybe number of clicks until you rent or something like that.
Maybe the main point is that we are trying to make access to our content, so it means to cars and owners behind the cars, very, very easy. So as you saw on our webpage, on our homepage, you have a map of France with number of cars. So it's like Le Bon Coin. You really want to click this, and then you have list of cars. We discussed about whether to show the phone number or not. We made really the decision to have very free access to phone number. Of course, you need to be signed in, and very easy messaging for us. It's paramount. We have the chance to have an insurance, and without insurance, it's really dangerous to rent cars. So maybe we can afford to put phone numbers where others can't. So I would say putting the actual user content right on the homepage, and then letting people contact each other very easily, very quickly.
So, and is this an element of differentiation between you and your competitors?
Yes. I don't know exactly now, but before, I think during a long time, we were the only ones to show cars rating on the homepage. The other ones were explaining the concept or putting static content. I think this helped us a lot. And also for contacting, not all of the websites have the same policy. Now that we are the leaders in France and Europe, they are starting basically to follow. but yes, it was an element of differentiation. Access to content was much faster on Drivey than on other websites.
Okay, thank you.
Did you audit your competitors' copy? And if so, how did you do it?
We are reading all the time competitors' copy, and not only competitors. For example, we have spent a lot of time, like many startups, on Airbnb because their content management is really exceptional, and competitors as well. And then we didn't do it in an organized way with an Excel spreadsheet to rate everything. Just each time we are creating something new on the website, we are going to dozens of other websites to see what words they used, what choices they made, and it's obviously interesting.
Okay. But often they're in English, I think, like in Airbnb. How did you translate it to choose the right word?
We speak English. No, but yeah, that's it.
Hi. Hi, it's you.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. I have two questions. The first one, I saw that you have 7 developers.
Yes.
So I don't see like the technical constraint or maybe things that need 7 developers in the website. Maybe I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And the second question, what makes you like comparing with the other actors like the leader today? What things that makes you the leader today?
So why do we have so many developers? Because we want to go fast, and what you see now is, I hope, only a small portion of what we will have in a year's time. And it answers more or less the second part of the question. Is we've always been much faster than much more agile, much faster than the competitors to push new features, and not only features but to improve the user experience. And 7 developers, it's web, it's mobile also. So mobile also consumes quite a lot of time. And then it depends how much we are basically a very product-focused company. We hired 2 people at marketing in the beginning of the year, but before we had no one to take care about marketing.
This is the point. I thought that the business is more marketing than product, because like we need to have a more acquisition, more people to use the service, more to these things brings you money and makes you earn money.
Mm-hmm.
Developments, okay, to make the user experience better. Okay, it's cool, but it's not as important as have more clients, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but clients come for a good product, so then you can discuss chicken and egg on this part. But basically, we believe that making a good product, then we acquire. How do we acquire new customers on Drivey? Word to mouth, so people talking to each other, because there are not so many services which let you earn some money on the web and some actual money, like 1 month of salary a year. So people talk to each other, and then you have the press. This is a luck for us. We are a kind of fashionable service because it's tech, it's social, it's green, it's good during the crisis times and this kind of stuff. So we have a lot of press. And then if you consider these 2 means of acquisitions, then people can go to any of the 8 services in France. Then who has the best iPhone app, Android app, website, everything? So that's where we decided to invest. But there are probably some other solutions.
Thank you.
From the fact you first had the best content because you worked on it, you are not on the top for a car rental on Google, are you?
Car rental? No, because car rental is very competitive. It's like hotel booking. It takes time to be.
Yeah, but
for
your keywords, I don't remember them. But for the keywords you put and that all your competitors took, then no, are you on the top for these words or no?
Yeah, for car rental contract, we are number 1, and we didn't expect. What I was explaining is we made a page because we needed to explain how our contract worked, to show a sample contract, this kind of thing. Okay. And without expecting it, we found out in Google Analytics that some people were coming to our website because they had keyed in Google rental contract, a car rental contract. So this is a good example.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. And And the second question was about Zendesk. What made you choose Zendesk rather than use a voice, for example?
We didn't yet. We didn't choose Zendesk yet. We just saw that they had a. You can link the customer service answers with your knowledge database, and this knowledge database. So it's basically articles about each and every topic, each and every questions you might have on the website, and you can easily link it anywhere on the site. But to be honest, I didn't make a complete benchmark. We are not using Zendesk so far. It's just an idea. So if you have better suggestions, let's discuss it right after.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.